moment for God.
Whatever setbacks you faced, remember, He is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. Keep trusting, keep moving forward, and never give up. Here's today's scripture.
For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. It's quite something.
It really is. We've got the biblical text, obviously, and some analysis to guide us.
Yeah.
And our mission, well, it's pretty clear. Let's try to get to the heart of this message.
Understand why it still hits home, you know.
Exactly. Why it resonates.
Okay, so that opening statement, it sets up a pretty stark contrast, doesn't it?
Yeah, this direct opposition.
Yeah.
You lift yourself up, you get brought down, you humble yourself.
You get lifted up. It's kind of the opposite of how the world often seems to work, right? Status seeking is everywhere.
Right. In understanding why Jesus said this, well, we need the context. Who is he talking to?
The religious leaders, yeah. Scribes and Pharisees.
Exactly. And their, let's say, focus on public recognition, looking important. That was the backdrop.
That makes sense. So it wasn't just a general statement, it was pointed.
Very much so.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is this core theme, this reversal of worldly values.
The whole value system gets turned upside down.
Yeah. What the world often praises, you know, power, status, self-promotion seems to be, well, less important or even problematic from this perspective.
And humility, which isn't always seen as a strength,
suddenly takes center stage. And pride, it's shown the door eventually.
It leads to being humbled, the verse says.
Right.
And this isn't just like some abstract idea. It has very real implications for, say, leadership or just how we should be, you know, as people following this path.
True greatness isn't about being the boss then.
Doesn't seem like it. It seems rooted in service, in putting others first. It kind of mirrors the example of Christ himself, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. That model of servant leadership, and it challenges our whole notion of what making it or being great really means. It's less about climbing a ladder.
And more about maybe washing feet, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. Metaphorically, yes, or sometimes literally. But if we take it a step deeper, there's this element of spiritual truth, divine justice almost.
Okay, unpack that a bit.
Well, the exaltation promised for the humble. It's not necessarily about getting famous or rich right here, right now.
So not always worldly success.
Maybe not. It seems to carry this eternal significance, a kind of divine approval that matters more than public opinion.
So the focus shifts away from what people see on the outside.
Towards that internal transformation, what's happening in the heart.
That makes a lot of sense. So lug this out, it means choosing a different path, really.
Definitely countercultural. In a world shouting, "Look at me," this verse whispers something else entirely.
Like trust that humility has its own kind of recognition. One that maybe isn't flashy, but is substantial.
Precisely. Trusting in God's view of a humble heart, even if the world doesn't get it or value it.
Which brings us to, well, the practical side for anyone listening today.
Right. How does this actually look in your life?
Yeah.
Day to day.
Yeah, because it's not just ancient text. It's an encouragement, isn't it? To actively pursue humility.
In our jobs, families, interactions. Understanding that real honor, the kind that lasts, isn't something we grab for ourselves.
It's given to those who, as the verse says, humble themselves in love, in service, in reverence.
So boiling it down, the key takeaway seems to be that true, lasting honor doesn't come from puffing ourselves up.
No, definitely not from self-promotion. It comes from humility before God and serving others.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe for you to ponder.
Go on.
How might intentionally choosing humility, even in small ways, start to shift your own perspective on what success and significance really mean in your life?
It's a good question to sit with, something to really think about.